Internal combustion engine sales in China they're pretty much collapsing. EV sales in China they've hit a record 50% in April. And we're seeing these internal combustion vehicles just fail to sell. The Toyota Camry sales have dropped 60%. Legacy Auto is in big trouble. And BYD and Tesla are saying, you know what? We're going to take as much market share as we possibly can, discount our electric cars, continue disrupting these massive polluting legacy automakers. Tesla has responded to BYD's massive price cuts in China. It has reduced its prices in many countries worldwide, but today it just reduced prices by, quite a bit. If only the Model Y and the Model 3 were this cheap everywhere else. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Prices for the Model 3 and the Model Y have gone down significantly, but not quite as much as the price for the Model S and the Model X. The price for those two vehicles has gone down by as much as 22%. Tesla has cut the price of every single one of its models, every variant in China. It's responding to massive discounting from its competition, in particular BYD, but also you got companies like Xiaomi who are selling their EVs, very good EV, SU7, at an incredibly low price. Clearly all automakers in China, all EV manufacturers, except for BYD, who's about breaking even, they're all making a loss. But it's to get market share. They do this though in every industry, in solar, in everything. And what it's led to is things like this. I mean, there's really only two battery companies in China that are really successful, BYD and CATL. Everyone else has kind of been crushed, essentially. You can say the same thing for, say, for example, solar panel makers. There's really only 3 solar panel manufacturers left. And there was heaps. They all pretty much decimated by this kind of thing. Price cutting, intense competition. Price for the Model 3 and the Model Y has gone down by a fair bit, a few $1,000s. The Model 3, it comes in 2 versions right now. The performance version, the ludicrous version, is not yet on sale, although there are Model 3 ludicrous vehicles in the parking lot in China's, Tesla China's factory. So very likely you'll be able to buy one of those pretty soon. Model Y has 3 variants. Prices have dropped by up to 14,000 RMB, which is about $2,500. But if you think about it, right? The Model 3, the new Model 3 Highland, $32,000 US. It's such a good car for that price. Now, yeah, you can say that about a lot of cars in China. Anyhow, that means the price has gone down by 14,000 RMB, which is about $2,500 US. So $32,000 for the Model 3 standard range, the Highland version. That's a price drop of 5.7%. The Model 3 long range is 272,000 RMB. Price has come down by 5%. So that means the Model 3 long range costs $37,000 US. It's actually relatively expensive in comparison to, say, for example, the BYD Seal long range, which is about $8,000 less. But anyhow, Model Y price is also very, very low. It's 250,000 RMB. So it's been discounted by around 5.5%, which is $2,500 as well. That means a Model Y standard range costs $34,000 in China. Now, you can actually get a Model Y for around this price in the US right now as well. If you can qualify for the EV incentives, which most people can, the Model Y price comes down to around $35,000. But this is the non-incentive price. There's no incentives here. Basically, you walk into a Tesla dealership in China, you pay $34,000 for a Tesla Model Y, which is it's incredibly cheap, right? You really can't say that internal combustion is cheaper. You could probably say it's more expensive because your running costs are going to be much higher. The Model Y long range is my pick of the bunch. Probably the car I'd probably go with just because I'd want that extra range, and I do like a bit of extra power personally. All-wheel drive. It's 290,000. It's down 14,000 RMB as well. That means the Model Y long range is $40,000 US. $40,000 US. That's a pretty good price. Now the Model Y Performance has a new price as well. It's down by 14,000 RMB as well. It costs 355,000 RMB. So the Model Y Performance is $49,000 US in China. Now speaking of the Delivery timelines. Tesla does seem to have gotten a few more orders because the time frame has gone from delivery of 2 to 6 weeks. It's now 3 to 6 weeks. So I don't think it's not a huge difference, but 2 to 6 weeks to 3 to 6 weeks, there is definitely a little bit of demand for the Model 3 Highland, which I think there should be. It's a really good car. I mean, journalists have said it's fantastic. They believe it's the best car in the segment that you can buy, and at these prices, well, yeah, it's pretty damn good. All three variants of the Model Y, though, they are still sitting at the same time frame of 2 to 6 weeks. CNET Post says that both the Model S and the Model X are available in all their different variants, and the price for the regular Model S is 685,000 RMB. So as you can see, the Model S is quite expensive in China. It's actually about 95,000 US dollars. That's considering even after there was a 15.3% price reduction, massive discounting on this vehicle, discount of around 124,000 RMB. The Model S Plaid, well, that's significantly more expensive. It's been discounted by 21%, but even after a 21% discount, it is still $112,552. So it's about $30,000 more expensive in China than what it is in the United States, which is kind of makes sense. I mean, Tesla does have to ship these from the US, and that's going to cost you a fair bit. The Model X starts at 725,000 RMB. That's for the long-range version. That's after a discount of around 20% on that particular model. And that equates to around almost exactly $100,000, the Tesla Model X. So it's quite a lot more expensive. In America, it's now $72,000 after incentives. I think it's about $77,000 before incentives in America. So it's about $23,000 more expensive in China, even after a 20% discount. So you can kind of see why Tesla might have been struggling to sell the Model S and the Model X, because they were very, very expensive. However, delivery dates are very long. If you want to buy a Model S or a Model X in all variants, you won't get one until the third quarter of 2024 in China. Previously, they were the second quarter. So it does look like Tesla is selling the Model S and the Model X, even though they're very, very expensive. Tesla recently lowered the price of the Model Y, the Model S, and the Model X by $2,000 in America. But, of course, Model 3 price is unchanged. Cybertruck prices, of course, are still very high, still the Foundation Series versions, but they've sold out for all of this year. Realistically, if you look at Tesla's order book for the Cybertruck, they've sold out for, I would say, at least 3 years. In March, Tesla sold 62,400 EVs in China alone, which is pretty good growth. But it did mean Tesla sales were down by 18.6% versus 1 year earlier. That said, much better than February, where they sold only 30,000 for the month. So 62,400. In Shanghai, the plant exported 26,666 vehicles in March that were sold outside of China. That was down around 11.8% from 30,224 in February. But production is pretty good. They're still producing, it looks like, around about 80,000 vehicles per month at the factory in China. Now keep in mind, the Model Y is actually one of the best-selling vehicles in China, period. Monthly sales exceed that of almost every traditional gasoline vehicle. And after deliveries of the locally produced Model Y began, deliveries of the Model 3, they did drop significantly. However, there's now a new version of the Model 3. I think a lot of people in China are expecting there to be a new version of the Model Y coming. So Tesla might have a bit of a slowdown in terms of sales in China. But when the Model Y Juniper arrives, I think Tesla's going to get a lot of orders. And if it comes within, say, the next 3 to 5 months, I think Tesla will still have the best-selling car worldwide with the Model Y. This year, for example, the Model Y is one of the 3 best-selling cars in China. It's the best-selling car in Europe. And that means Tesla does have a chance to have the best-selling car worldwide again this year. Thanks for watching.